Beautimus. What is up? It's Whitney, bro. And for today's video, it's kind of going to be a shop my stash, kind of going to be a chit chat, get ready with me. But I'm going to be using the Revolution Chilled palette. And it looks like this. I've only dug my finger in and swatched things. I think I may have used this brown shade right here once or twice. I'm going to try to make a brown and green look. I don't want it to be too overly brown and I don't want it to be too overly green. With this palette, I think the overly green part is going to be the difficult part of avoiding. I do like how they have this little neutral corner right here in case you don't like any of the rest of the shades. They're like, well, there's some, you got a little some in there. Just looking at my doggy, he's so handsome and perfect. I love him. I'll insert a picture. So I'm going to be going for a very stereotypical high glam smoky eye. So I am going to be using tape to create that harsh line. I always tell people to use washi tape. I see people doing this with like Scotch tape, and I just don't think they know how bad that is for their skin. We're going to take this big fluffy brush. I believe it was from my Betty Boop Ipsy collab. It's pretty old. I'm going to use my Milani eyeshadow primer. For the first shade, I think I'm going to go into that shade right here called Relax. It probably won't even do anything as far as my skin tone's concerned, but oh, it's doing something. It's there. But we're laying this down as our transition shade. It does have a really big, nice mirror in it, which I really do enjoy, and the packaging outside is metal. Are any of you 420 friendly? I have to word it a certain way because YouTube, obviously it's not legal everywhere, so I have to watch what I say because YouTube doesn't care if you live somewhere where it's legal. They'll still get you in trouble for talking about it, which doesn't make sense to me. In my opinion, it should be kind of like a state-by-state thing. So we use that first transition shade. We're going to go into a Sigma detail blending brush, and I'm going to use that shade Cool, which is the next deepest brown, right along in the crease as well. A little bit of that first shade, and we're just blending this out. To further deepen things up, I'm going to use that shade Burn right here, which is just this very nice deep brown, and I'm going to take that on this angled brush. And this we're going to get kind of light-handed, going right above the crease. And using that same brush for that dark shade, I'm really packing it on there, and I'm not going to top off any excess. I'm just going to go right in and start stamping that outer V. And we're just going back and re-blending those colors towards the top as we build that outer corner out. I probably could have done this both eyes at a time, but we're just going to roll with what we're doing right now. Can't forget our trusty NYX glitter primer, and I'm going to go in with that all over my lid. And I think we can take the tape off. Ooh, I love that. I love how smoky and mysterious that is. So now that the glitter primer's had a chance to sit, I'm going to go in with that shade right here in the center of the palette called Candyland. Wow, that is pretty. We're going to go in with the shade Calm right here, which looks white on camera, but it's this really pretty light kind of iridescent gold right in the inner corner. I'm going to place a little bit more and kind of pull it back to help blend it into the green. For the final shade, just because this is really light going into that deep shade, I'm going to go into the color Dope right here, which is just kind of deep green shimmer. And that's going to go just on the edge here. We don't want to cover up the brown. We just want a better transition from the light green to the brown. So I'm going to go ahead and get this other eye caught up, and then we'll be back. We're going to go ahead and move on to the rest of the face. I'm going to do the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I'm just going to take that and go all over my face. I wish every type of complexion product came with that type of applicator. It just comes in so much handy. Blending it, I'm going to be using this domed round buffer, and I'm also going to take some of the LA Girl Pro Matte because it's a little bit darker than the e.l.f. is, and I'm going to kind of mix them into one another as we go. Look at that. Color crisis averted. Because that's looking real light on my forehead. I love when I get a good color match that's just like spot on. It's my favorite. So today is my day off. It is a Thursday when I'm filming this. You guys probably won't see this until Monday. So I guess I can ask, how was your weekend? Because by the time you'll be watching this, it will have already happened. Let me know in the comments how your weekend was. I am going to be doing karaoke with one of my friends and probably some of her friends as well. And then I'm going to use the Black Radiance Concealer. If you watched my last video, you will know this is a newly discovered favorite for me. It's like the exact right color that I want it to be. And it looks a little crazy when it's like this because it does look too dark for me. But it has this peachiness to it that kind of color corrects as it functions as a concealer. And I love the fact that it's kind of a 2-in-1 because the side of it, it's even called True Complexion Longwear Concealer. So I thought it said something about color corrected. So never mind. For our cheeks, I'm going to go in first with the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer in the shade Butta Off. Oh, it smells so good. So good. I feel like I've talked about this in a video before, but it smells exactly like these Lilo and Stitch figurines that I had when I was a child. They were like coconutty scented. Oh, smells exactly like those, but in like the best way, not like the plastic part, like the delicious coconutty part. Bronzing is just my favorite step because you go from looking all round like a tater to a bronzed goddess, and it's the best step in the routine for me. And I'm just being very careful over this edge of this shadow because we don't want to get rid of it completely, but we do want it to look seamless with the bronzer. So just gentle taps over top of it. And then I'm going to come blend the cheek out. Look how snatched that is. You can't beat bronzer. Bronzer is the GOAT. Bronzer is the best part of makeup for me. And there's just not a step of my makeup routine that I love more than bronzing. I am going to be purchasing a slightly lighter shade of this bronzer for winter when I'm pastier than I am right now, because I think this color on me in the dead of winter is going to look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I am going to be buying, I think, so this is Butta Off. I think the shade right above it is called Butta Biscuit. But if you've been eyeballing these, they're not that old of a release. But if you've been eyeballing them, kind of put them in your cart, took them out, saw them in person at Ulta, thought about it, didn't buy them, now is your sign. Buy them. It is a fantastic bronzer. I have to force myself to use other bronzers because I like this one so much. I have to remind myself that other bronzers exist because I like this one so much. And it blends in beautifully with all foundations. I've used it with a skin tint. I've used it with kind of a combo like I did today, like a lighter product and foundation together. It works over whatever you want to put it on top of. And I'm just doing my signature trick of cleaning up. It's not signature. I don't know why I said that. But I'm just cleaning up underneath that shadow, the natural shadow of my cheeks. I'm making sure that there's no bronzer that has gone underneath that shadow because I want it to be, snatched. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous formula that is just... It was only $6.99, and I mean, you can see the material. It is a fantastic concealer. I adore that concealer. I found it at CVS like maybe a week and a half ago, and I always would look at them. I couldn't tell if the fair to light shade was actually going to be light enough for me to use, so I never pulled that trigger as far as purchasing it. And then I was in CVS the other day and was just like, I'm getting this. I'm getting it. I've looked at it too many times. I was like, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work for me right now, it'll work for me in the summer. So I have that to look forward to. But then we're also going to go in, now that the concealer's blended out, I'm going to go in with the Candy Paint Cheek and Lip tint in the shade Velvet Tiger, which looks like this. It's kind of purpley in the pan, but it comes off a very, very pretty mauvey, cool toned color, because I didn't want something warm because of the eyes being so cool. I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder in the shade Medium, and I have it in the lid here. And I'm just going to take a little of that on the nose. I call the pointy part the nose. And now we're going to go in and set that concealer down. Just a little blush over where we powdered. And then I'm going to take the rest of what I didn't use. I like to tap it back into the container in case I don't use all of it. And we're going to get that on a large setting brush. And then we're just going to go kind of gently set our face. This doesn't look gentle, but it is. I like to set everywhere except where I put that cream blush at. I like to set my forehead as well. Sometimes it takes the bronze away, which I don't love. So I'll go back and kind of reestablish that a little bit. And now that the under eye is set, I'm going to take the Sigma detailed blending brush and we're going to go back into that shade Cool, which was the kind of more mid-tone shade that we used in the crease. And that's just going to get smoked all along the lash line. And we want to connect it to where the outer corner right here is. We just want to make sure where we smoked it at connects to that. I don't have a whole lot of setting sprays. We're going to use the Bear With Me Prime Set and Refresh spray. And I don't think you have to shake it, but it feels better for me to shake it, so that's how I do it. And we're just going to give that a moment on the skin to set in and kind of meld those powders into the skin. We don't want anything looking dry. We don't want anything looking cakey. As that's drying, I'm going to talk to you guys about the highlighter that I'm going to use. It's actually the Lottie Loves X Layla London collab highlighter, and it looks like this. There are 4 different quarters of this highlighter. It's like a true gold, a white gold, a rose gold, and then kind of a deeper, not quite bronze, but bronze vibes, we'll say. Because it's not a deep enough bronze that it won't work for my skin tone. And the wrong lighting, you can't see that. It's blown out completely. But that's the highlight we're going to use. It's in the shade called Glazed Donut, if you can still buy this. I hope you can, because it is a gorgeous highlighter. And you really don't need a whole lot. For this look, I'm going to go kind of for the more icier gold shade. And then we're just going to tap on the high points of the face. Beautiful. It's just one of those highlights that you don't really have, you don't have to do too much for it to do too much. And then we're going to highlight the brow bone. on both of these with that same icy shade. You can mix and match the shades. I just really don't want to right now, to be honest. I really love the vibe that this is, the singular shade is giving on its own. And then I just take the excess and run it down my nose. Not enough that you really notice, but enough that there's something reflecting light right there. Benefit Give Me Brow eyebrow gel. And just sweep that through my eyebrows. I absolutely adore this product. I think I'm becoming a Benefit girly. I saw one of their blush palettes was on sale, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should buy that. I've only ever tried their brow products, so I can't speak to how anything else of theirs functions. But those are the eyebrows. We're very low maintenance with the brows lately. It's just an eyebrow gel and go, even with a look as glam as this. CBA. Can't be arsed. I can't be arsed to do that. For lips, I am going to try a lighter nude than I usually ever do, so bear with me because this is going to be my first time, and if it looks like poop, I don't want anybody to be mean about it. I'm just using my lip liner in the shade Chocolate. And I'm going to go in, it's this kind of off-brand, it's called Lip Crayz Lip Crayon. Is that too light of a nude? Ooh, there we go. Blended some of it out, and now that looks exactly like the kind of nude I was going for, because the eyes are really bold, the cheeks are kind of punchy, so we really didn't want something too overpowering on the lips. I wanted something that was going to make the eyes the star of the show, and I really do think this lip combination achieves that. I did decide to go ahead and add lashes. They are a bit dramatic, so if that's a little too much for you, you can always use a lighter, less fluffy pair, so to speak. I just thought this look needed them. I wasn't going to do it because I'm very lazy and I haven't put eyelashes on in forever, and I was like, what if it comes out bad and the inner corner's sticking up? But the material, I think the material speaks for itself. So yeah, this is the finished look, and if you stayed to the end, shout out to you because you're a real one. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you so much, more than you could ever know. If you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe, and with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!